Yo everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today I am doing a review and showing you some swatches of the brand new Huda Beauty new nude eyeshadow palette. I literally received it earlier on today. I could not wait to use it. Today, as I'm filming it, is the 3rd of November, and I am so keen to get it up so that you guys can watch it that I am going to put it up today. That is how quick. It literally came out a few days ago. I ordered mine from feelunique.co.uk in the UK, obvs. And you can also buy it from Cult Beauty, Harrods, Selfridges, other places, Huda Beauty, Sephora, etc. I believe it may have sold out on Cult Beauty and there's a wait list already, but I don't know about Feel Unique. Now, the reason that I bought it from Feel Unique... Sorry, what's that on my neck? Oh, shame. It's from the palette. I've just noticed something sparkling. It's an eyeshadow chunk. Okay. The reason I ordered it from Feel Unique is because my little tip to you guys in the UK is that if you fill out their questionnaire that pops up on the screen and you input all your details like what your skin tone is, what your hair type is, blah blah blah, you are then given the chance to have 10% off of any brand on their website for 6 months. After 6 months you can continue to get 10% off that same brand, or you can then choose to change it to something else. So even though this retails at, what is it, £56, I actually got it for £50.60, and it includes free delivery as well, which is excellent. Cult Beauty, unfortunately, they will send us like offer vouchers and things like that, but if you try to use it on something new like this, it doesn't apply, and it's just, I find that really unfair. So for those of you in the UK, I would definitely recommend Feel Unique. Amazing website. As soon as I ordered it, when did it launch? It launched on the 1st and I got it on the 3rd. Look how quick that is. Anyway, so let's get into this. So this is her 3rd eyeshadow palette she has now released. Now, I know a lot of people are like, okay, new nude, but it looks very pink. I don't understand it. I think that Huda has done like her own version of like orange is the new black and pink is the new nude. No, to me, nude is nude, love. You can't go around changing nudes like that. I would have liked it to be called something else. Aside from that, this is what the outside looks like. Let me just show you first off. It comes in this box, plastic, slightly transparent. I don't like it. Very, very cheap and unnecessary. So we'll just ignore that one. Here is a close-up of the actual palette itself. It's got her eyes on it. It's got a slight kind of, can you see the words nude, which are slightly reflective? And then she's got netting over her eyes, and I think it's really pretty. Actually, I think this is my favorite cover packaging that she has released so far. And then on the inside, which covers the eyeshadows, is this cover with her eyes on it. This is what the inside of the palette itself looks like. 18 shadows of a variety of different types of textures and colors. You've got a decent massive mirror as well, which is great. It's in a standard cardboard box. It's very sturdy and quite decent quality. So £56 is pricey, but that is the price that Huda charges for her eyeshadow palettes. This one is made in Italy. Anyway, so let's just read off of the website what their claims are. So it says, a whole new take on nudes. Huda Beauty's The New Nude Eyeshadow Palette is a total heartbreaker. Cheesy. A treasure chest of blush, mauve, taupe and beige neutrals mingled with show-stopping copper, golden and pink glitter jewels. It features everything you need to master beguiling eye effects in one slimline, clutch bag compatible case. Who's going to carry this around in their handbag? Come on, you put your makeup on and you leave the house. The array of 18 shadows includes 10 highly pigmented mattes formulated with aloe vera and coconut oil for butter-like application. 4 reflective shades featuring shimmering pearl flecks for a gorgeous duochromatic finish. 2 glitter formulas infused with innovative silicones for advanced adherence, pigment dispersion and luminosity. Okay. 1 pressed pearl combined with acacia, jojoba and sunflower wax for a high shimmer finish that layers effortlessly on top of mattes, adding dreamy depth and dimension, and even a concealer base for flawless application and to boost any eyeshadow layered on top of it. You're guaranteed to fall blah 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 whatever. Okay, so that was a lot of marketing jargon right there, but you know, that's what you got to do when you're trying to sell something. I love it. You guys should know me by now. You know the kind of shades that I always gravitate towards, and they are always pinks and purples and mauves. They're the ones that I find really flattering. So this is a very mostly cool toned palette with a couple of warms thrown in there, which makes a delightful change from your usual kind of warm tone shades. However, when you hear the word nude, it just makes you think of warm tones, but then this is anything but. Now, the matte shades are absolutely excellent. They are, as they are described, they're easy to blend, they're pigmented, they're buttery. I have no issues with them whatsoever. And that goes from the lightest of the light to the darkest one called Love Bite. Now, Love Bite is that kind of aubergine-y sort of purple that can be difficult to blend out. However, I did not find it difficult to blend out. The makeup look that I've got on my face right now is using this entire palette. So I've used that shade as well, and I've used quite a few. I have filmed it for you guys as well, but I thought I would put up the review first, giving me time to then put up the makeup tutorial just so that you can see how I've used all of these shades, including the concealer base. Now, having a concealer base in here was a very brave decision, I believe, because it is not something that I have ever come across in an eyeshadow palette. Maybe somebody's done it once upon a time. I personally don't know. I don't have any eyeshadow palettes which have got a concealer in it. Now, it's called concealed. It is not a concealer. It is a concealer base, even though that just sounds like concealer to me. However, it's not there to give you any kind of coverage, which I found out because I obviously used it on my eyes today, and I was like, this is quite sheer and it doesn't give a lot of pigment. It's quite different, and the thing is, it's cold in this garage where I am now. I film in my garage, and I had to really dig into it because I think the palette itself is quite cold because it's cold in the room that I'm in. I had difficulty picking it up with my brush, and I was using a concealer brush to do like a half cut crease as well. But then I realized once my skin had warmed up a bit, it was a little bit more malleable, but I found it quite difficult to kind of drag it because it was so cold. But then I suppose that's the same for any kind of creamy kind of product. Now, it is there to literally help you with your eyeshadows. It's not there to give any kind of coverage to cover up anything. Now, it has got a slight tinge of colour to it, don't get me wrong, but even for my medium skin tone, it still came out slightly pale-ish. It would not match me, for example, if I needed to use it on its own. What this basically is like an eyeshadow primer that has been disguised or named concealer base. Now, what I did was I first applied this, which you will see in the makeup tutorial. I applied this to my eyes first before I did the rest of my face because I wanted to see how it sat on the eyes. It did not crease at all, and I had a good 10-15 minutes doing the rest of my face before I started on my eyes. Now, if you use a normal concealer on your eyes, eventually, if you don't start to put your eyeshadows on top, it will start to crease within the lines of your eyeball lines, that sort of thing. That did not happen with this. So in my mind's eye, that means it is a very, very good concealer base in that it will not shift around, it will not cause your eyeshadow to crease, and it will keep everything in place. Plus, everything sticks to it really, really nicely. I even set it with this shade at the top called Bear, and that still did not stop the reflective pearl shade sticking, and the glitter that I've got in the middle, one of the glitters called Infatuated, which I thought, hold on, there's no glitter glue or anything like that. Is it going to stick? I had literally no issues applying it to my eye, and it has not budged, it has not moved, it has not dropped over various points of my face. So in that respect, I find the fact that she has added something like this into a palette quite impressive. It's really good at obviously neutralizing the eye as well. If you've got a very, very, very deep skin tone and you're worried that a couple of these shades may not work on your natural skin color, that is where that concealer base will come in slightly handy. Like, again, I will repeat that it is not there to conceal the complete color of your eye, and if you've got very deep skin, it will turn your eyelid gray. However, the whole point of it is so that when you apply some of the lighter shades, they show up much more vibrantly, as opposed to if you had just applied it to your bare eye, whereas your skin color would eat up that color or make you look kind of grayish. Now, as it says, it comes with 10 buttery mattes that blend seamlessly into your skin completely. I love all of them. I think they're all great, and all the colors work on me, on my skin tone, very, very nicely. I did not have to build up any colors too much. It just, again, depends on personal preference and depending on the kind of look you're going for. If you're going for a very intense look, obviously you're going to pile it on. If you're going for a very soft look, you're going to use less. And then 4 multi-reflective shadows with a versatile pearly to iridescent finish. That would be these 4 shades here. When you look at them up close, they've got different chunks of pieces of pearl in it. Very different, and something that I'm not really used to seeing. And they are all so intense. So intense. However, they are best applied with the finger, which I found difficult because obviously I did a semi-cut crease. And when you use your finger, which is round, it can very easily go over it. So what I had to do was I first applied it to the big areas with my finger, took a very tiny brush, really had to dig into it because it doesn't pick up onto brushes as well as has been shown with her previous eyeshadow palettes. And then I just kind of diffused the edges. But the colours are iridescent, they're duochrome, they're fabulous. They're absolutely gorgeous, shimmery shades, and I love them. And it says it has 2 pressed glitters for an opulent touch. This shade called Excite looks very similar to the one that was in the Desert Dust palette. I think maybe that one was maybe a little bit more red, whereas this is more of a reddish, kind of vibrant, violet-y purple colour. And the other one's a bit more pink. But again, with a brush, very difficult to apply, but with the finger, shows up excellently. When I swatch it for you, it might look a bit sheer, but that's because I'm swatching it on bare skin rather than with a concealer base or something slightly tacky underneath. You do need to have something only a tiny bit tacky for it to apply to and stick. But as they said, they've put some adherence, something sticky in it or whatever. So I do find that it applies very nicely without you having to worry about using a brush. And then there's 1 pressed pearl for a velvety shine. Very random to just have 1. It may have made sense to maybe get rid of 1 or 2 of the mattes and maybe had 3 so that you've got a nice mix of textures. But for whatever reason, they decided not to do that. But genuinely, very, very happy with this palette. I give it a 10 out of 10. It is very different. It's very innovative. Huda Beauty is always trying to be slightly different. So I like the fact that she tries, you know, more than anything else. And I personally think that it's a beautiful, beautiful palette, and quite a lot of people will like this. I believe personally that if you've got very deep skin tone, you will definitely benefit from the fact that it's got a concealer shade. If you don't like the concealer shade, by all means apply a white base to the eyes. As long as your eyelid space has got no colour to it, so you're making it completely neutral and beige, all of these colours will work on you no matter what skin tone you have. But I know that there will be people out there that are like, well, why should I have to? And I don't blame you. I don't blame you. But the choice is there for you if you do want to buy this palette and you have got very deep skin tone and you want this to work. Because you will be missing out. It's a gorgeous palette. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I can't rave about this enough. I give it a 10 out of 10. I think it's excellent. So anyway, I'm going to stop rambling on now. I love this palette. I think it's great. I think it's worth the money. There's not a single shade in here that has disappointed me. You can come up with so many different looks. Simple, everyday looks, nighttime glam, date night, smoky, sultry, all kinds of looks. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to swatch these on my medium tone skin. Now I do have to say something. Whenever I see a lot of swatches online, a lot of people do them on the inside of their wrist. Now that ain't my skin colour, and that ain't your skin colour either, you. I tend to swatch it on the outside because that is actually the colour that will match my skin tone to the most. So be wary of swatches that you may have seen online where people have swatched it on the inside of their wrist. The sun doesn't see the inside of your wrist, it sees the outside. So this area is where people should really do swatches because that is most representative of the skin colour that is on your face. So let's start off with this shade called Bare. Ignore the scabby nails and the fact that I need to repaint them. So now that we're over that, that's Bare. And Bare is a matte cream shade. I use this all over the eye, over the concealer base, just to set it and neutralize my eye further and to make it a little less sticky. This shade is called Crave. Crave is one of the multi-dimensional pearls. It's probably one of my favorite colors in the entire palette. I love it. It's like a mixture of gold with ivory and pink, depending on how the light hits it. Really soft and buttery. Do not dig your fingers or brush into this shade, by the way, because it is that buttery that it will break and flake off. That's actually what you saw on my neck at the beginning of the video. It was a flake from this. This shade here is called Play. Play is a beautiful pale peachy shade. I used this as a transitional shade. It's also matte. This shade is called Fantasy. This is another one of those multi-reflective shades. It's gorgeous. It's like a plummy pink colour. It's one of the shades I'm using on my eyes today. Gorgeous, buttery, soft and intense. This shade is called Love Bite. Such a beautiful, heavily pigmented, purple with a hint of pink to it. Now can you see how that is such a clean and smooth swipe? You know how it is with other purple shades, it would be a little bit patchy, difficult to blend. That is one swipe, by the way, and look at that. That is a clean swipe with no patchiness whatsoever. I love it. This shade on the end is called Spanked. Another beautiful matte shade. That is such a beautiful mauvey deep pink sort of shade. Gorgeous, easy to blend, buttery, absolutely love it. This shade here is called Lace. This one is one of the more paler matte shades. It's a very cool toned lilac-y sort of colour. This is the kind of colour that can potentially cause somebody with very, very deep skin to look slightly grey. So you have been warned. However, it is very pigmented, intense, buttery and easy to blend. This shade is called Daydream. God, I love this shade too. Look at how beautiful it is. This is another one of those multi-reflective shades. It's a beautiful pale pinky sort of colour. Very intense. Not as duochrome as the first one for sure, but still a stunning colour. I'm also using this on my eyes today. This shade is called Tickle. This one is definitely like a warm pink toned sort of shade. It's definitely like the baby version of that one on the end called Spanked. They're very kind of similar. That one is just slightly deeper. So you can imagine how beautiful they'll both look together. Again, very easy to blend, buttery and gorgeous. Now we're moving on to the glitters. The first one is called Excite. This one is slightly more difficult to swatch because there's no base for it to stick to, but it's such a pretty shade. It's like a raspberry sort of colour. Absolutely love it. The next one here is called Infatuated. Similar sort of thing, difficult to swatch, but in terms of how it sticks to the eye, it sticks very, very well. This one has got more than one shade in it. It's got like a purpley tinge to it, but it's got bits of green in it. I'm not sure if you can see that, but it's got little bits of green, which I think is really unique. Now that one at the end is the one pressed pearl called Kinky. Look at that, such a beautiful colour. I love it. It's like a purple with a hint of bronze to it. Then the concealer base here called Concealed. See what I mean when I say in terms of how pigmented it is? It's not really. In Huda Beauty's foundation, I'm in the shade Baklava, by the way. This shade here is called Secret. That is a very soft toned mauvey shade. Gorgeous for your everyday wear. Again, so pigmented, easy to blend and buttery. This shade here is called Tease. So this one is a very cool toned pale purple sort of shade. And again, buttery and gorgeous. This shade here is called Raw. Raw is definitely more of a burgundy purple mauve sort of shade. Again, beautiful. Sorry, my swatches are starting to get a bit shit because I'm like running out of arm space. My arms are too big or my swatches are too big. This shade here called Charmed. Such a gorgeous shade. It's like a golden bronzy sort of colour with hints of silver to it. It's one of the pearl shades. I think it's gorgeous. And then last but not least, the shade at the end called Teddy. And Teddy right at the end is such a pretty everyday colour. It's like a brown mixed with pink, and then you get this gorgeous warm toned shade. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. So here are all the shades for you on my medium skin tone. Just so that you guys can see, just to repeat, I am in the shade Baklava by Huda Beauty in her foundation, MAC NC40. So this is all of them for you guys to see. Okay, so that's it for all the swatches. But overall, I'm really happy with it. I think that it's something that everybody can potentially love, especially if you love these kind of shades. It is a step away from any other kind of palette that she has created in the past, so I don't see any kind of repetition really. Maybe there are one or two shades that are similar to ones in other palettes. However, it's obviously keeping with a certain type of theme. So that's it for my very quick review for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it useful and helpful. I am, like I said, going to be posting it up today as I film it, so I will make sure to answer any comments that you guys have on this palette below. I'll make sure I keep my laptop on just for you guys. On my lips, I'm wearing Huda Beauty's Trophy Wife, and I'm wearing all Huda Beauty stuff. Scarlet eyelashes, I think. Scarlet or Sasha eyelashes. And that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.